Magandang umaga po sa inyo. Rom and I are back to warm up your Monday morning with our Warm Toast Live. Musta ka, Rom?
Okay, excited. Isa na namang umaga ng puno ng impormasyon sa ating mga followers tungkol, of course, ang ganda ng topic natin ngayon tungkol sa mga investment property. So, paboritong-paborito yan na topic ng ating mga followers.
Definitely. Alam mo, Rom, ang bilis ng panahon, di ba? Parang konti na lang, Christmas na. Tingin ko meron sa mga viewers natin na baka ang plano nilang Christmas or New Year gift para sa kanilang sarili ay bago or kanilang kauna-unahang investment property. So, napapanahon itong topic natin today. Pero bago ko ibigay sa'yo, bago ko introduce yung topic at yung guest natin, general advice warning lang muna. Ano man yung matututunan natin today from our viewers are specific sa scenario nila. So, our viewers, before acting on any advice na maririnig nyo from our guests today, please make sure to work with professionals. Okay, Rom?
Oo nga, napakaganda, no? Sino bang ayaw na regalo sa sarili ang investment property? So yung mga followers natin na may mga questions, pwedeng mag-comment or mag-message sa atin. So ang guest natin ngayon ay isang nurse saka isang IT. So hopefully sa mga followers namin, sana marami kayong matutunan. So, i-welcome na natin yung ating mga guests.
Cool.
Hello! Kamusta kayong dalawa? Tawag nito, introduce nyo nga ang inyong mga sarili muna para sa ating mga followers at mga manunood dito sa video na ito.
Where from?
Yeah, so I'm Roselle, so I'm a registered nurse and 8 years ako dito sa Melbourne.
Yeah, so ako si Ace, I'm an IT by profession, so been 11 years sa Melbourne.
Yeah.
Wow! Thank you, Rizal and Ace. So, let's kick it off with the questions.
Yes.
So, napag-usapan natin kanina sa backstage. So, you have your owner-occupied na bahay. You have one property na investment and you are waiting on the second one or parang third nyo technically na property na by next year. So, pero babalik muna tayo dun sa pinakaunan yung investment property. So, ano yung prompt sa inyo to have your very first na investment?
So for us, number one really is to financial growth. So for us, we've been doing some studies na ano yung maganda investment, and then we thought maybe investment is best with house property, kasi nga yun na physically and tangible, and historically nag-grow siya, so upward trends lagi yung growth.
Yeah.
So for us, so housing investment is really for us.
Yeah.
Property,
Okay. So property ang napagdesisyon ng investment, no? So sa pagbibili ba ng investment property, lalo yung pinakauna, of course, pinag-aralan nyo bang mabuti yung due diligence, or tumalon na lang kayo at maaring ito yung magbibigay sa amin ng pera, itong investment property na ito? So anong i-share nga natin yung pinakaunang pagbili nyo ng investment property?
So, of course, hindi kami nag-jump in kagad, no? We're really just so lucky kasi we have friends and families who also did investment. So we sat down with them, we spoke with them, and tinanong namin kung ano yung, alam mo, parang we just really learned from them kung ano yung ginawa nila before, what worked for them. And then, after namin na mag-usap, kami naman ni Isang nag-usap as a couple, as husband and wife, and really reviewed kung ano yung expenses namin, and then we set a budget, ano yung kaya, and we had to agree on things on what we need to let go para ma-hit namin yung target savings, for example. And then, after that, we spoke with our broker para malaman namin so how much ang kayang pahiramin sa amin ng bank. And then after that, that's when we started to research on where to invest. Yun.
Cool. Nung bibili ba kayo nung inyong investment property, meron na kayong owner-occupied by then?
Yes, meron na. So, ang dami rin namin naging learnings nung naghanap rin kami ng owner-occupied eh. So, meron na kaming parang list on ano yung kailangan namin hanapin when looking for a property. So, first thing talaga is location. Location. Yung nasabi lagi ni Roms, location is very important. So, yun rin talaga yung isang unang tinignan namin.
Cool. Expound natin a little more about dun sa criteria nyo nung hinahanap nyo yung investment property nyo. So aside from the location, meron ba kayong ibang mga, I guess, naging factors to decide kung anong property to invest on, whether bahay ba siya, townhouse, apartment, location, bago ba, o existing na? Share nyo naman sa amin.
Yeah, sure. Ako na sagot. So, kami, nabanggit namin property. So, one thing is we want to stand alone. So, imbes a land na separate na hindi siya in apartments or townhouse. So, for us lang yun. And then, of course, yung lagi namin nabanggit yung location. I think one thing I've learned, so kami as an investor now, so we think of a property na pwede mo rin tirhan. So, in short, you treat it as, as a premium land na pwede mong tirahin. Because if you think na pwede siyang tirahan and viable siya, it's not gonna be hard to find a tenant. So, and then meron kaming sinasabi na it has to be in the growth suburbs. So ano yun? So syempre yung mga suburbs na merong amenities like government, not necessarily government yung mga government offices but may schools, may hospital, and then for us lang as just a value. And then we also have list na non-negotiable, like it has to be close to the transport, may access to city, and then kasi even though hindi kami madalas at least we still have to look for, and then also yung transport niya.
Yeah. And of course, nung pumipili rin kami ng property, we have to make sure that it's within our budget. Kasi baka nga, okay, magandang location, close to school, close to amenities, to groceries, yung gano'n. Pero if hindi fit sa budget namin, then we have to say no to that investment property. So, yung budget is also very important because we don't want to stretch too much our budget na sobrang hirap na kami na hindi na rin namin ma-enjoy yung life. So sa amin, very important sa amin yung may balance pa rin na yes, we work hard, we have an investment, but at the same time, we have to make sure that we have as a room to also just enjoy and enjoy life.
Did we answer your question?
Oo, yeah, napakalinaw yung sagot ninyo. Yung next is actually message ito ng isang followers namin ni Joy. May nag-message sa akin, Joy. Comment daw, hingan daw namin kayo ng comment dahil nga sabi niya napaka-emotional daw niya na investor. So ibig sabihin, makita niya yung bahay, nagandahan siya kunwari sa main bedroom, bibili na niya or nagandahan siya sa garden, go na raw. Parang yun kanyang weakness daw eh. So anong comment mo naman para sa viewers natin na yon?
I think ako sa amin is parang we're very much aware sino ang may potential to be emotional in terms of making decision, and ako yon. Kaya we kept nag-agree kami ni Ace, okay, let's make a list kung ano yung hinahanap natin sa isang property. So again, that's location, yung amenities, and then yung budget. para pag may pupunta kami sa isang property, if it's outside of those non-negotiables on the list, then we have to say no. And at the same time, we are accountable to each other. So kahit na ako kung gustong-gusto ko, but he has to remind, well, it's not on the list, then we
Yeah.
have to say no. So
Yeah.
so we have accountability is very important for us din talaga. So and before making any big decision, we've agreed na we won't say yes. We have to sit down, yung parang padaanin yung time na yon, and yun, and i-agree namin. Kasi we've learned from before, wherein ako yung naging emotional na yes, and then siya yung parang, just wait. Siya yung parang wait, let's have to review, to reflect. Ganyan. So, natuto naman ako. So, kaya ngayon, parang, pag sinabi, kaya we agreed na, okay, let's have to say, to stick on the list and then be accountable to each other.
I-add ko lang, so number one yung rule siguro na yung house should be functional, hindi palamuti, everything you buy in one go. One big time buy. So, yun more functional buy.
Cool. So, Rom, I guess nasagot nila Rosel tsaka ni Ace yung tanong nung nagtanong sa'yo, Rom, di ba? So, may tao lang tayo, di ba? May tendency tayo na maging emotional sa things. Pero, maganda yung share sa atin ni Rosel tsaka ni Ace na siguro may matutunan ka na from previous experiences na emotional. And ang ganda ng check and balance yung dalawa, di ba? And that you listen to each other and you set expectations din na if one says stop, parang okay, pause muna tayo, pag-isipan natin. That is good. Kanina, nabanggit nyo rin na you also revisited, of course, yung budget, di ba? Kung magkano siya, you spoke with a broker. Of course, meron na kayong owner-occupied. Tapos papasok kayo sa panibagong loan, sa investment property, which is hindi maliit na pera, di ba? Malaki siya. So, ano yung, I guess, parang identify, ano yung budget nyo, kung magkano yung pwedeng i-loan, nag-pre-approval ba kayo, o ano yung mga, I guess, saving tips na ginawa ninyo?
So for us, kasi first, before we step in as an investor, we have to be mentally ready and also, syempre, financially ready. So, during the first time, even yung first house na binili namin, we have to assume na one of us will be not working or working partly. So, part-time. So, doon yung baseline namin. So, always stick to what we can afford, even if it's 5 years ago. So we stick with our budget. We know our means, we know our budget. So it really helps na we, meron kaming base, and then this is the ceiling. Even though may movement pa kami, we use extra funds. So yun yung pinaka-guidelines namin. And then the next one is we always go to the professional. So we went to our broker. Nabanggit nyo savings, but sometimes savings is not enough. So you have to go for, ask the professional and ask the still buy this land. So yun lang yung question, can we buy this land? And then, you know what happens. So the next day, they will tell us, or second day, they will tell us, this is how much you can borrow. And then we check, okay, then we can buy this property or not. So that's the next process. So yun yung siguro ginagawa namin.
Yeah. And he's very clear sa pag-set ng budget. Kasi sa invest, parang hindi kami tatalon agad sa isang investment without really sitting down and sineset niya talaga yun na kasi nga syempre we also have plans of having kids in the future. So kaya ang pag-set niya ng budget hindi sa pareho kaming working full-time. So, ang set niya ng budget is ako working as part-time. Kahit na ngayon, working kami full-time. So, in case na magkasakit or in case na mabuntis na wala sa plano, at least, alam namin na we can still maintain the property na hindi namin kailangan i-let go yon. So, yun. So, minimake sure ni Ace yun na parang, okay, yung budget natin is ito lang. What if kung ikaw nag-work ng part-time or yung isang nagkasakit? So, at least, alam natin, ma-hold natin yung property.
Yeah, because that's the only thing we can control. Hindi naman, if mayaman kami, hindi kami to try to budget. But we're just saying na within our means lang yung budget namin. Malaking bagay.
Isang nabanggit doon is yung Joy, no? They work with professionals. At saka medyo sila, no, pinaghahandaan nila at medyo conservative ang kanilang strategy. Ibig sabihin is yung mga what if kino-consider na nila. Paano kung mangyari ito? Dapat meron tayong backup, isang strategy na matututunan natin na kasi utang nga, no, ang nabanggit mo, Joy, kanina, utang nga ito, malaking utang. So may risk. Ito ang next na question ko. May risk talaga yung utang. Although nabanggit nyo na pinaghahandaan nyo na paano kung nabuntis, nag-part-time. So paano pa manage yung ibang risk din? Like for example is something happens to the property. Ano pa ba? Ano pang risk ng investing? Hindi lang nabuntis na nawalan ng trabaho. Paano nyo siya minamanage naman yung risk na yun?
Yes. So two things. Yung first is you have to mitigate risk by ensuring that we have exit strategies. So for example, very important na when you're choosing a property, na it has to be, a quality property. Kasi kung kailangan talagang i-let go, then at least we know that we can easily dispose them at still at a very good price. And meron pa rin kaming makukuha, may earnings pa rin kami doon. And second is na very important na talagang consider namin is speaking to our financial planner. Kaya nga we approach the Tax Smart Cafe about this kasi especially before kasi inisip natin parang it won't happen, and we always think na bad things can happen to other people except to us, but we see what happened during COVID, and we did not expect it pero it happened. So doon talaga nabuksan talaga yung mind namin na bad things can happen to anyone, and all we can do is really, yung sabi ni Ace, control what you can control. Kaya kami, we went to the experts. We spoke with you, with Tax Smart Cafe, yung financial planner, to make sure that we have, the right insurance. Yung hindi lang landlord insurance, but kundi yung life insurance, na we have income protection, na alam namin that's how we can sort of control and mitigate the risk.
Cool. Thank you. Ang topic natin today is costly mistakes to avoid, di ba? Ay, nabanggit niyo yun exactly. So, yung mga iba kasi nag-i-invest without actually looking at ano yung risks, di ba? And how to manage those. And ano yung magko-cover doon, like insurance. Hindi na napapansin na kailangan pala yung mga ganun. Which is awesome na kinonsider niyo yun, Rosel and Ace. And medyo related din yung question ko doon. Nabanggit niyo COVID, di ba? So, narinig natin ang daming na delays, construction, and all, di ba? Na-lockdown din and something. Anong nangyari sa experience niyo? Meron ba kayong mga delays? May mga unexpected ba?
So, for us, I don't think, so of course, sa part ng builder, yes, merong delays. But we kind of expect na hindi kami nagmamadali during that time na consider namin yung investment, no? So for us, it during the COVID, sa blessing pa rin kasi na-delay yung builder, so na-delay yung overall yung handover ng property. So it helped na nakapag-ipon pa kami over the past few months or 12 months, sabihin natin, na kapag hindi kami na-stress na, ito, you have to maglalabas na naman for down payment. So, for us, naka-help pa siya. And then, sa amin, sabi nga ni Rosel, I'm a bit conservative sa pagdating sa budgeting. So, we really have to sit down and think about, the next 12 months, what is the next expenses, ano yung budget and everything. So we really talk about that. We assess every 6 or 12 months.
Yeah. So kahit na nagkaroon kami ng delays, hindi naman kami masyadong naapektuhan. Kasi we have that room to move. Kasi na part rin talaga yun ng pagkuha ng property is you have to consider other costs as well if there are no delays. Mahirap kasi kung masyadong, alam mo yun, to the dot Kasi paano pala kung kunyari nawala yung piso, alam mo yun, kung nawala yung $1, and then parang saan mo hahanapin. So, mas maganda may, alam mong may room to move.
So usapang COVID tawag nito. So yun nga no. So maganda sa guest natin Joy is lagi silang may backup. Pero karamihan sa mga nag-iinvest laging nagre-rely sa rental income. So ano nyo nga ito, expound nyo nga ng konti. Ano yung mga pinaplano nyo ba na once na may investment property kayo, ina-anticipate nyo ba na paano kung nawalan ng magrerenta ng ilang buwan? Ano ba yung backup nyo doon?
Yeah.
So, I guess, yun nga, no, parang somehow we're lucky na we have other friends and families who are also investing kasi natatanong namin sa kanila, so what are the other holding costs? Kasi sa
Yeah.
pagbili ng property, hindi lang naman yung purchasing cost but there are other costs that are involved in that, like yung mga yun nga, pag nawala ng rent, yung insurances, we have to make sure na talagang kasama yung insurances sa pagsama ng cost sa isang property. So we did not solely rely on rental income. Again, as what A said kanina, na you make sure na when you budget, na talagang may room to move ka para kung kunwari mawala ng tenant. Plus, we made sure as well na when we're getting a property, hindi yung talagang sobrang sasagarin. Kaya nga important talaga, hindi ka emotional buyer kasi you have to be objective na dapat as much as, closest or even if lower than the median price, then that's really good without compromising the important things which are the location and the amenities. Then in that way, alam mong hindi ka sagad sa budget. Plus, important to have the landlord insurance kasi nga, pag nawala ng tenant, at least alam mong may insurance ka to cover the cost.
Yeah, also I want to add kasi we share knowledge. So one of the things na consider namin is talagang merong times na from any investors tinanong mo, may times na mawawalan kayo ng rent.
Yeah.
So you have to think at least 8 weeks of allowance.
Yeah, exactly. So si Ace would always put allowances. Kung may mawala ng work, mawala ng income, at least alam niyang may pagkukuhanan siya. hindi siya magbebenta ng kaluluwa.
Nabanggit niyo.
Cool. Okay. And I guess isa sa mga mistakes din ng mga nag-i-invest in property, Roman and Roselle and Ace, is yung relying too much, not just on the rental property, but also on negative gearing din, di ba? Pero although may advantages naman sa negative gearing, pero could also lead to financial stress kung walang sufficient na cash flow. Diba? So, I guess yung next na namin tanong is medyo related din sa negative gearing regards naman sa expenses. So, may makiklaim na expenses na deduction sa tax, diba? So, paano nyo make sure na you're leveraging those nasa sa inyo?
Okay, yeah, that's a very good question. So, again, we pictured ourselves na before investing, we can leverage some tax exemption or tax what do you call that, efficiency. So of course we made sure na lahat ng expenses we keep it, and we at the time of tax what do you call that, tax return, we do that, but we don't do it alone. So again, we go with the professional, we go with the accountants, and the accountants will do the rest of the work. But we cannot do it. We can only know what yung expense namin, but we have to do it in the right way. Because we don't wanna parang overbearing tama yung sabi niyo. So, not relying sa too much negative gearing, but it also a leverage for us to earn a property. So yeah. So accountants really help us.
Yeah. So we make sure na we liaise with our accountants kasi parang that we feel that we know that that's the only way that we can do it correctly
Legally.
and legally. Yun nga. And yun nga, no, from our past experience, parang we had a bad
Yeah,
experience
sorry, yeah.
before, and we really learned a lot from that experience. Kaya nga, we're very thankful with your team, with the Taxmart Cafe, yung mga ginagawa niyong mga events. Kasi we feel that that really has equipped us with a lot of knowledge para we can be more proactive pagka during tax time. So hindi lang kami nag-rely kung anong sasabihin. But because ngayon nga yung mga binibigay, nalalearn namin from your event,
Yeah.
sobrang nagiging proactive na kami. Plus nagkakaroon kami ng clear books kung ano talaga yung mga pwede namin ma-claim. And yun nga, hindi lang yung basta claim ng claim. And we just want to make sure that we're also doing it correctly.
Can I also add, so yun yung beauty ng like you, Taxmart, you know what's the current laws and rules sa the tax. So I think that's a plus.
Okay, thank you sa inyo. Yung next namin, hindi na namin i-expound yun, no. Very clear na yung tawag nito, yung explanation actually, pero tama nga yun, no. You have to consult professionals, especially yung mga accountant, kasi medyo komplikado, especially yung taxes, no.
Yes.
Yung next natin na malapit na tayong matapos, no, kasi alam ko may pasok pa tayo ngayon. So yung next na question ko is tungkol sa plan. So sabi nga nila yung mga property investors daw, less than 0.5% is nakakatatlong property. So malapit na kayo doon, imagine nyo sa kadamihan ng mga property investors, nandito kayo sa konti lang kasi nakakapagtatlong investment properties, no. So ang question ko diyan is ano yung long-term plan ninyo? Ano yung strategy after the third one? What's next? So i-share nyo nga sa amin, Rosel and Ace.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so 10 years a bit long, but we know already where we're gonna keep our properties. Kung ano nabili namin, we love them until now. Wala pa sa kanilang burden, so we're gonna keep them no matter what. If it's more than 10 years, if it's bearing and growing, then we're gonna keep them. So long term, that's for the current ones, but long term we still have gonna look for new opportunities. So we might repeat the same process ng pag-invest. I think lagi nyo nabanggit yan, repeat the same process. And that's one thing that we are in a position. So I think maybe I don't want to put years, but we have some graphs na, okay, this is the time again, and then maybe if not this year, we review next year. So parang may step by step kami na procedure na, okay, this year we'll do this again. If not, if may opportunity, yes. So.
And we will work closely as well with our accountant, with Taxmart, with our accountants, like for example, like your service, kasi we want to make sure that we put in the right strategies later on. Like for example, yung katulad nga nung pinag-usapan nila last time about investing through SMFO or establishing trust funds, because we want to make sure that when we later on, if closer to retirement, then when we sell the property, we can still be tax efficient. So far that's the strategy. So repeat and work closely with the accountant, in short.
And then another thing, hindi namin isinaset aside yung financial planning. So we're really, really good.
Yeah.
So that's part of our team. That's part of our team.
Yeah.
So if it's 12 years, 30 years, they're part of our team.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Cool, thank you rin. And I guess nakakatawa dun, Rom, is hindi lang pala yung investment is short-term na plano for Rosel and Ace, diba? So meron talaga silang pinagpaplanuhan for long-term. And of course, natutuwa rin ako na yung realistic kayo na meron kayong plano, pero alam naman natin ang buhay, diba? Hindi siya laging nangyayari as we plan it. And you're open dun sa adjustments, open to adjust as those happen. Okay, let's wrap this up with a message from the both of you.
Siguro sa akin, always be a learner. Don't be afraid to ask for advice and to ask for help, especially to those who are for experts. Don't be intimidated, ask for help, and learn from them. Yeah.
Sa akin, so add up ko lang, no? So, always, research, do your homework. You don't have to be an expert. That's why you guys are an expert. So, learn from others, like sinabi niya. And, yeah, so let your money work hard for you.
Yeah.
Yun yung laging, natutuloy na. So,
Napakagandang mensahe, Joy, mula sa ating mga guests, ano. So sa aming mga viewers and followers, kung may questions kayo sa aming guest, mag-comment lang dito sa video na ito, at maaring may tag namin sila, at maaring sila mismo ang sasagot sa sa inyong mga tanong. Of course, isang umaga na naman na puno ng tawag nito, impormasyon, knowledge na na-share sa inyo, sa atin, especially those na nagpa-plan na mag-invest. Joy?
Definitely, ulitin ko lang bago natin tapusin to, general advice warning as always. Ano man natutunan natin, alam ko inspired kayo mga viewers namin kay Rosel and kay Ace, pero wait lang, bago kayo mag-act sa natutunan niyo today, again, ilang beses sinabi nila sa atin today, please work with professional, work with your accountants kung meron na kayo. Yeah, plan with them kung ano man na gusto niyo gawin. Diba? Cool. Rom,
Okay, so hanggang sa susunod, no, as we are always saying, sinabi rin nila, save taxes legally and be smart with
be smart with, sabay-sabay tayo.
Tax Smart. Okay.
That's
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Until next
Sel,
time.
Ace.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye.